Okay, so just I'll give an idea of what is there in the question paper and how you need to go over this. This is Vichakshana's second paper where you have both Yadavabhyudayam and Niti Chandrika. So it is a poetry paper, right? So if you look at the first section has Prati Vibhagam Ekam Swikritya Pratipadartham Tatparyancha Likhata. Now, first point to note here is, since there is no mention of language here, and since this is only Vichakshana, you can write it in Sanskritam or English or any other mother tongue that you have specified. Okay, so you can write the words and the Paryayavachi Shabda for Pratipadartham, you can write it in English or Tamil or Sanskritam, depending on the language that you have given for your registration also. Okay, so among this, there are two sections. The first section is from Yadavabhyudayam. The second section would be from Niti Chandrika. So from Ekam Prati Vibhagam, please note, so Prati Vibhagam ityukte, from each bhaga you will have to take one shloka and explain. So look at the marks here, it is 20 marks. So which means for each, you have to do two shlokas, one from Yadavabhyudayam and one from Niti Chandrika, and each one will carry 10 marks. So whatever you know, you write. Imagine it should come for at least one whole page in normal handwriting, not big handwriting. So in a normal handwriting, you will do Pratipadartha and then Tatparyam. If you remember any Visheshas, you can mention there. As long as you remember correctly, it is fine. You can mention Alankaras, Vyakarana Visheshas. If you are confident of Samastapadam, Vigraha Vakyam, then you can write the Vigraha Vakyas also. Okay. In the Tatparya section, when you start the Tatparyam, you can also give the Sandarbha or context just in one line. Like, for example, Apunaf Prarthaniyasya Prarthitadikadayinaha, this is a description of one of the Chandravamsha kings. So if you remember which king, then you can just mention one line of Sandarbha if you remember that. स विष्णुरिव लोकानां तपनस्तेजसामिव समुद्रैव रत्नानां सताम् एकाश्रयो अभवत्. In Sandarbha, you can write this is a description of Vasudeva. And Madri, if you remember, you can make a note of it, just one line before the Tatparyam. So write the Pratipadartha. If you want, you can write the Anvaya also for reference, better reference. Then you write the Pratipadartha. And then you can give one line of Sandarbha and then give the Tatparyam. All of this can be in any language because they have not specified anything here. Is it clear? Any doubts with this? Clear. Okay. We'll move on to the next section. In this, you see Matribhashayam Chatvari Saprakaranam Vyakhyata. Since it is given Matribhasha, you have the liberty to use your Matribhasha, which you have given in your application form. Tamil, Telugu, whatever language, or even English, whichever bhasha you have given, you can write it in that. If you are confident enough and your language is also good, you can write it in Sanskritam also. So there is no restriction here. Okay. So here you have to give Saprakaranam for 4 of these, which means each one will have 5 marks. So 4 into 5, each one is going to be for 5 marks. So in comparison to the earlier, you can imagine it should be half of what this is. So for a half page, you can write. That should be enough. And Saprakaranam Vyakhyata, I have given for Raghuvamsha also what are all the headings that should be there. First is Granthol let me see if I can pull up. I usually use one format which I generally use for Samartha.
Granthol Sandarbha Anantram Vivaranam.
Vivaranam. Adeda.
Vyakarana Visheshamshaha. Alankaraha.
It's up to you. The rest is up to you. As long as you have this section, these 4 subheadings. Okay. So, Majjataf Papajatasya Nasti Hastavalambanam. This is in Devastuti. Grantho Lekanam. First, you always start off with the Yadavabhyudayasya Prathamas Sarge. Vedanta Deshikaihi Virachite Yadavabhyudaya Prathamas Sarge. Idam Vakyam vartate. Illa, if you are writing in Matrabhasha, you write it in that particular language. So that will be your Granthol. Then you have Sandarbha. What is the context? This is in Devastuti. And you give a little bit of the context before, and then you explain this line. If you want, you can give a Pratipadartha for this line and a Tatparyam for this line. That is the Saprakaranam Vyakhya. If there are alankaras, if you remember, Kimutanye mitam pachaha, Kaimuti kanyayena atra arthapatti alankaraha. If you remember that arthapatti alankaraha, you can say here. No problem. Nahi shuddheti grihyeta chaturthi chandrika. It's an arthantranyasa alankara. Only if you remember. If you don't remember, it's fine, because you're not expected to know alankaras at this point. If you remember, awesome. Okay. These are from, usually 4 will be from Yadavabhyudaya and 4 will be from Niti Chandrika. You can actually get away with just one text, but it will be nice if you can take whichever is your confident area, because sometimes in Niti Chandrika you won't know what the exact shloka is. There is no context there. At least in Yadavabhyudayam you can fix the context in some way or the other, whereas in Niti Chandrika it will be difficult to fix any context. You will have to remember the points within that particular shloka. So it will be good if you can keep on listening to the chanting, which means you will have memorized it by then, almost by before the exam, so you'll remember all those things. Okay. Now this is with respect to the second section. Any doubts here? Okay. The third section. Chaturnam Matrabhashayam Samadhanam Likhata. Again, Ipo, why they have specified is because there is another section where it says Chaturnam Samskrite Samadhanam Likhata. Here, when it is mentioned as Sanskritam, you do not have a choice. You have to write it only in Sanskritam. Anga, you cannot get away with writing in English or Tamil. If you look at this section, it says 12 marks, which means for 4 questions, you have to answer 4 questions. So each question has 3 marks. So which means you are reducing the 5-mark thing to even further, or 2/3 of the space that you take for 5 marks. Idala edukana, see, these will also give you an idea of how much you have to write, how to write it within the given time. You have only 3 hours on hand. Having an idea of how much it should cover in a page will give you an idea, will also give you the time frame that it takes for you to write that. So you can also maximize on your time. It will be too much on it. You won't be able to finish the paper at all. Especially poetry, prose, drama, all of these will be very difficult to finish if you are not very precise with the amount that you are going to write and with your points that you are going to mention for that particular question. It's very important. So preparing beforehand is always helpful. Bhudevyaha vachaha shritva devaihi kim kritam. You can answer in 1 line, you can answer in 3 lines, you can also answer in one huge essay. So remember, you are answering it in about 6 lines. Say half mark for a line, something like that. You need, or 3 lines. If that is all there is, that's all you can do. If there is no material, then it's a 1-line answer. That's all. So Kamsaha Devakim Vasudevancha Kutaha Karam Ayojayat. You can write a little bit here. That is, there was an Ashariri voice, a disembodied voice, which said that the 8th child of Devaki and Vasudeva is going to kill. You can give 1 paragraph there, but be very precise. Do not start from somewhere in the beginning of the Sarga, and by the time you come to the point where Kamsa is going to put them in prison, you are already through with some 2 pages of essay. It's not an essay. It's only a 3-mark question. Here also, I think you will have 4 questions from Yadavabhyudaya and 4 from Niti Chandrika. Choose well and write. Know what, if you know exactly what the answer is, then write. Because sometimes Niti Chandrika questions can be very confusing. So be prepared with those. As much as possible, go over a lot of these question papers, back question papers, and do the answers. So this is in Matrabhasha. The next is in Sanskritam. It has the same number of marks. you have to write the same amount that you have written for Matrabhasha also. So here too you have Disho Dasha Vibhushitaha Jayanti Sambhavam Narakasthitanam Ke Manushya Rupena Mrigas Charanti. So these three are in Yadavabhyudayam. These two are in Niti Chandrika. This one is in Yadavabhyudayam. This is also Yadavabhyudayam. All three are. So looks like in this particular paper they have focused on Yadavabhyudayam for Sanskritam and not in Niti Chandrika. Maybe other question papers will differ. Take a look at all the question papers and see what are all the questions they are expecting Sanskritam answers and prepare them. Okay. So this is also the same as the earlier one, wherein each question, it carries 3 marks. Now the next section is Artham Likhata. Shannam Matrabhashayam Artham Likhata, because there are Sanskrit words that are given. 12 is given. You only have to choose 6 and write. To avoid mistakes, please choose the 6 that you actually know the meaning for and write, which is easy also. Okay. Minimize. Don't write all 12 and make the examiner choose. Don't tell him you pick and choose whichever is right. You give me the marks for that. Please don't do that. Do 6 as much as possible. There will be questions which you know. So try to attempt those. The next is Shannam Vakyeshu Yojayata. These are some things that you need to practice. Okay, this especially is only in Sanskritam. So here you will write the answers, the meanings in either English or the language that you have specified. So you should have either specified English or Tamil or Telugu or some language like that. So you write the meaning in that language or Sanskritam. Sanskritam is a default that you can use for any section. You don't need to worry about, can I give the Paryayavachi for, like, for example, Vibhushanam. Can I say Alankaraha? Yes, you can. You don't need to write ornament always. You can say Nigamaha Vedaha. If you know the Paryayavachi Shabda for that, please write that. They're not going to put minus marks for you. They will mark you like Navam, Nutanam, Parthivaha, Rajanaha. Most of the times you will know. That is why you have been studying Yadavabhyudayam with the Sanskritam Paryayavachi Shabda. So you will be familiarized with all of these. The next is 6th section, Vakyeshu Yojayata. These are simple words. Here again, there is a choice. So half and half. You can forego half of this and attempt only half. If you see, the words are also very simple. Tvam, Purvam, Gachanti, Sahasa, immediately. So Vihaya, these are all words which are very simple and you can actually score full marks in these. Okay. Now, this section is something you have to work on. Vigraha Vakyani. This is assuming that you have also studied the 3rd section where there is Vigraha Vakyas, and we have also gone through many of these Vigraha Vakyas as we were studying Yadavabhyudayam. So this you need to know. There is no option here. You will have to write the Vigraha Vakyam only in Sanskritam. You can't write it in Tamil or English. So it's naturally you have to do that. Again, there is a choice of writing 6 among 12. So you have a huge choice in these sections. So try as much as possible to cover those that have been given in the earlier question papers. Most of the time, people will not, those who set the question paper will not waver away from this. So the exam part is actually easy in Chittoor. Okay. So go over all these, write down. If you have any doubts, send me or put it in the group. We will, someone or the other will answer. Okay. Now the next section. Any doubts till now? Okay. The next section is 8. Shat Sandhatta. This is Sandhi. This we have been doing from Parichaya level, the first level. So it's a very easy section. Again, you have a choice of writing 6 among 12. You don't need to write the name. It doesn't say Sandhi Nama Likhata. It only says Sandhatta. That means you only have to write Yadi plus Evam, Yadyevam, Muhuhu plus Muhuhu, Muhur Muhuhu. You are right. You will get half mark for that. Or, 1 mark. Sorry. Romba Dharalam. You will get a lot of marks here. Next is Trayanam Vyakarana Visheshana Likhata. Vyakarana Vishesha here does not mean some special thing that is there. Nothing. You just have to recognize that word and write the different, you have to parse it and write. So if, for example, if we have Gachati, you need to say Gama Gach or Gach Dhatuhu, Lat Lakaraha, Prathama Purushaha, Eka Vachanam. Done. You have written everything there. Let's take everything now. Pushpani or Ramabhihi, both these. So Ramabhihi, you say Akaranta Strilingaha, Rama Shabdaha, Tritiya Vibhaktihi, Bahuvachanam. Done. Pushpani, you can say Akarantaha, Napunsakalingaha, Pushpa Shabdaha, Prathama Bahuvachanam, Dvitiya Bahuvachanam. If you remember both, then write both. Okay. These are also, you need to know the dhatu here. Luckily, you have more choice here than the earlier sections. Here they have given 8 and you are supposed to write only for 3. But those 3 carry a lot of value. 2 marks for each of those. So unless you are extremely sure, do not write. Okay. Vadishyati, pathanti, there will be definitely easier ones for you to score marks in a better way. The last section is Trayanam Vachanantare Likhata. Vachanantare is you will have to give the other, if it is an Ekavachanam, you are going to give in Dvivachanam and Bahuvachanam. Very clearly, if you give the other 2 Vachanas, there will be 1 mark for one Vachana, 1 mark for other Vachana, because you have 6 marks and you are expected to write only 3. So Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Edhate, Edhete, Edhante, Prakshyanti is there, so you write Prakshyati, Prakshataha, Prakshyanti, Guru, Guroho, Guruvoho, Gurunam. So this is how you will have to understand what are the other 2 Vachanas and write the other 2 Vachanas. If you want, you can write Ramasya also. You need not write Ramasya also. You can just write Ramayoho, Ramana. Okay. So this section is very easy and it will also go by very quickly. When you start answering, you can start from the 5th section in the beginning, so that you are assured of, let's say 6 plus 6 to 18, 18 plus another 18, 36 marks is in your hand. You can quickly finish this off and then sit quietly and write for the other sections, because these are going to take a longer time. Okay, these are like formulaic and you can quickly finish off those, so that you are at least assured. Otherwise you will be lost for time if you spend more time on these things. This is what I feel. So I will leave it to your choice. You can think about how to address it. Okay, so any questions with this?
So the Dvitiya Bhagaha covers Yadavabhyudayam and Niti Chandrika both, as well as some grammar.
Yes, some grammar also. Yes. That grammar is always based on Yadavabhyudayam and Niti Chandrika, because if you look at the words that they give, all of these words are present in Yadavabhyudayam or Niti Chandrika.
Okay.
Vigrah Vakyas will not be there, not in those when Samasa Kuzmavali will not be asked here.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay.